asked a lot about this season. What did you expect? How did you expect him to respond to this?
I expected that he would respond how he did, which is he's responded really well. He's putting a lot of extra time away from practice to get his body better, and I think he's made great strides. And what I see in practice and games is he's got his swagger and his fight back. It's not about making shots. That's great, and everybody loves that. But I watched the other parts of what he does to impact the game and how he's flying around more now. Comparing him last year to this year, how he was just movement, change of direction, speed, those type of things, and that's what I wanted him to get back to, is being active and doing things other than shooting, and that's what we're encouraged about him last year early. The thing I saw in France, a year and a half ago, was him diving on the floor, getting an offensive rebound, just weighing 150 pounds or whatever he did at that time, and not afraid to mix it up. So you had to get back to that, get your feet in the fire, and instead of just kind of hanging around the outside of it, really get involved with it and compete. And he's done that.
You've talked about shot selection a lot, and specifically about three-pointers the last 4 games. The numbers have been down, specifically the last 3.
Right.
How much of that in your mind has been not good shots, not in rhythm in the offense, or is it also part of the long season your team is going to go through?
Yeah, I think every team goes through it. I mean, I've watched other teams' numbers dip, but shot selection is a piece of that. Time and score is a piece of that too. Playing through the post more gives you better threes. So it's not one specific thing. It's not one specific individual, but it's being more holistic. It's not the right word, but offensively, really playing inside, playing outside, changing sides of the floor. If we can get to a third, fourth, fifth side, the shots will get better. Free throw numbers have gotten better, and we had a little dip. I thought they've gotten better. We were shooting well at Rutgers, but we got there 22 times. But it's the quality. When you get, as I told the team the other day, you want your shooting percentage to go up, take better shots. It's not, we're not, unveiling anything here super scientific. Just get good shots, and you take the good ones well enough, and we've taken some good ones and missed them. We had a great one. Max had a great one in the second half in transition at Rutgers. You have to take that shot every time you get it. So, you're going to miss some shots. You're going to go through the little ebbs and flows of a season. But I've always evaluated the quality versus the quantity.
Is that one of the most important things to getting back to where you want to be? Is the shot selection, or what would you say?
It's a part of it. I think it's a part of it. And some of that sometimes bleeds into the other things. When you don't have great shot selection, or you're a little not as good defensively, or you turning the ball over more than we should. I mean, and our numbers haven't gotten astronomical. I mean, we're still averaging over the last 4 games 9 turnovers a game. It's too high for me, but I mean, holistically, Nebraska was way too many. And even the time of when they happened against Rutgers, 3 right out of the gate and 11 in the first half. Now, how can we have 11 in the first half and only 1 in the second half? So those things of the time and what it leads to. The turnovers at Rutgers led to runouts and ones and those type of things with the fuel their fire. So it's not the only, shot selection isn't the only thing, but it's a piece of what we need to get better. And times we are better with it, and then we get off track. Same thing with the turnovers. Times we're really good with it, and then we get off track. So just keep working. Just keep working with it. Change some things that you need to change. We modified some things in terms of ball screen coverage and what we want to do to try to do a better job of keeping the ball in front of us. And I think we've done that. We did it okay at Rutgers. It wasn't that as much that got us beat. It was the start of the game to get down 9-0 and just backing up with a propane truck and throwing gas on their fire.
What do you think went into that start?
Hesitancy, not being aggressive. I'm watching us attack a press, take one dribble and pick it up. We talk about we never have one dribble pickups. Half court, full court, because you're playing right into their hands. So they've seen the film. They understand, because we've done it the proper way in the past of attacking and drawing to and making the next play. And at times we were aggressive, specifically AJ was aggressive against it. Maybe at the end of it wasn't always the best result, but we have to find the happy medium. We can't go completely out of control, but we also can't be passive and just end up with the second call. Can't catch it near the half court line. All the things that with any team as they attack pressure. But that's what pressure does to you. It gets you out of what your train of thought is, and if you don't catch yourself fast enough, you see what happens. You get down 9-0. That's what happens.
Greg, when a good shooter goes through a little shooting slump, you can become hesitant. And I don't want to say lose confidence, but get a little tentative. If a good team goes through a losing streak like you guys are, do you sense that some of you guys are getting tentative or pressing and maybe trying to do too much at times to get out of the rut?
I mean, that's probably a question probably for them individually. I mean, it's hard to. I've always said I should not have majored in education. Should have majored in psychology, because that is really where this has gone and probably always has been. But I've encouraged them. Hey, be aggressive. You can't be hesitant. You can't. There's still decision-making technique things, but that we have to get better at, and we have gotten better with it. But that's the challenge of over the course of the season. Can you stay? Because this group, as I've told them, they've played at a really high level. It's not about if they can get there; they've been there. Now you got to stay there. And I think you watch most teams in the country, you see all of this. Most teams in our league have gone through this, except with the exception of Purdue. Everybody else has kind of had their moments where they've scuffled and stumbled a little bit. So you just stay the course and go back to what got you there. Aggressiveness, fundamentally sound, not trying to overcook things. They're going to reinvent the wheel.
You mentioned being aggressive, but also not being out of control. But is it as simple as you'd rather have an aggressive mistake than a passive?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if you have aggressive mistake, there's a 50-50 chance a charge can be called a block. That's a dumb example, but I'd rather be more aggressive. It's a lot easier to dial back than it is to turn up.
Great. Leadership is big too when you go through a stretch. I know you're not in the locker room, but from what you see on the court, are you getting what you need from this group in terms of leadership?
Very responsive and very resilient. I mean, it came back yesterday. You wouldn't have. I mean, you did know, but you wouldn't have. They responded. I thought they practiced really well yesterday. But until you fight your way out of it, I think our leadership has been good. But as I've told them, players play. And we gotta go do it and do it better. Which we'll get out of it. We'll get back. We had a bad week. I thought we played all right against Purdue. We liked a few possessions back here or there. A bad half against Nebraska, but this past week sucked. Yeah, and we got to play better. We didn't play well, so get back to playing well, playing how we know we can play, how we have played. So that's the main thing. Is just continue to reinforce. Remember who we were and who we have been, and you've been that a lot more than what you've been the past week. So.
Do you have kind of you've laid out some of the things that have been struggles in your last four games? Do you have a hierarchy or list? This is my biggest concern. Turnovers is one. Defense is two.
What impacts winning? I mean, that's the thing. What impacts winning? And turnovers and defense were talked about even when we were winning. Maybe not as much with you. You didn't come with all those questions, but they were been talked about. Like this, in time, this can hurt you in certain situations. If you don't shoot it well, more turnovers hurt you. If you don't shoot it well, not getting the ball stopped in dribble penetration will come back to bite you. You can masquerade it because winning does that. It covers up, from the outside world. I saw a great quote the other day. It came from Bob Knight. Basketball is a game watched by millions and understood by few. So, again, when the millions are watching and we're winning, they don't see all the things that I see or our staff sees or any coach sees, that this is going to get you beat. It didn't today or it didn't that day, but eventually it's going to catch you if you have slippage in other areas or if you see a better opponent, whatever it may be. So understanding that, and they know I point to the scoreboard a lot and said, don't watch the scoreboard. Don't play to the scoreboard. Play to each possession has to be done well, because there'll be things when we're up 25. Guys, this possession done wrong like this against a better team is going to burn you. And I just try to continue to teach through it and show them examples of it. But the same thing. This is we don't have anything new that is coming to the game, so to speak. It's cost us that we have to be better at. So that's the challenge. Let's be better.
Coach, you speak about the little things getting better, not necessarily right. And the little things is one of the good teams great. You don't want to go through a 4-game streak and lose at all. Is this good for the Big Ten play March Madness?
Yeah, I think anytime you learn more through losing, it's not fun. Or you learn more through adversity. That's I think any walk in life. Journey, you're gonna pick up more things because you're gonna really dial in and focus on what, as I just talked about. We maybe were doing some of the same things, getting away with it, and now we're not getting away with it because we went 10 for 23 from three. Now we went 3 from 18, and those other things, you know, the 3-point shooting and all that was masquerading what wasn't being done well. You know, you can get away with turning the ball over 12 times if you go 10 for 22 from three, but if you go 3 from 18, you better turn over about 4 times. So just understanding all those things play together and how the little things impact the winning. I think that's what it's not. It's really little simple things that when you piece them all together, they add up to be, you know, they impact, you know, what side of the ledger you're on.
What are you seeing from the Buckeyes right now?
You know, they've played, they've had a ton of close games. Obviously, they had a big lead against Indiana, let it get away. Been there, know that feeling. I thought they played extremely hard against Maryland. It's hard to tell against, you know, on film, but the three guards are really good. Thornton and Gale and Jameson Battle. So, you know, they have that trio is as good as I think any in our league, and when they really are good and on, and you let all three of them get going, they're really a handful. So they've probably gone through, you know, a longer stretch of what we felt here in the last week. So you know, I think that's the same. We know Thornton is really good. You know, Jameson Battle's one of the best shooters, and we did a decent job on him in the second half. First half, maybe not as good down there. You know, and then guys inside too. They're playing Devin Law a little bit more, freshman, and obviously you got Akbar and Key there too. Mahaffey has, I think, become more comfortable with his role. You know, as kind of the glue guy, the junkyard dog, so to speak. So we know it's a good team. I always said you got to throw out records because there's talent on every roster. You don't know who you're going to catch at what night. Are they in a group? Are they out of group? Is somebody hurt? Somebody sick? You know, understanding this league, there's no get well games. There aren't any. There used to be 15, 20 years ago. Not anymore. There's just too much parity. And that's for the whole sport. That's not our league specific. You look across most conferences, there's a lot of parity. And you get in conference play, you know each other so well. Stuff that came easy in non-conference you can't get. You know, so the scouting and tendencies are pretty well known. So we'll have our hands full.
Coach, what's John's status right now? Do you have an update on Kamari's potential timeline for a return?
On whose status, John?
On John.
Yeah, he started to practice a little bit today, and then I haven't talked to Brent yet to see. He jumped off and went with Brent. Kamari got the cast off last week, so we're looking at another 10 days approximately, I would say. I haven't been given a real date yet, but I knew there was a process as we went through this. So he's doing a lot of rehab right now. He's been in the weight room doing all that stuff. So guess 10 to 14 days, some plus or minus. I don't know. I can't give you an exact date because we don't have an exact date.